This right here, this, which you don't see taught a lot, is the answer to anti-grappling, especially from a takedown position in Wing Chun. All right, let's get on to some content for Chi Sao purposes and the shorter person's game when it comes down to Chi Sao. Now, understand something. Chi Sao is a game. That's all it is. It's no different than grappling, and it's no different than sparring. And when you really think about it, it is a combination of the two, because you're already in a pre-linked up position, right, where you're making contact either half and half or single arm. Don Chi Sao doesn't make a damn bit of difference, but you're already in a position where it's like Bruce Lee. We talked about the reference point, right? Q Sao, reference point, Choi Sao, whatever you want to call it, too. It can turn into Chi Sao. I think when people go to Chi Sao, what they're doing is they're reestablishing their position when they go to the roll, right? It's like, why not just, if you're going to go for Choi Sao and Q Sao, which if you've seen the Enter the Dragon and the Bob Wall or O'Hara scene and Bruce Lee. I think what a lot of people are like, well, why do we just not go to sparring and this and that? I think it's a mutually agreed position to return upon, to reset the position, right? So if you're going to go grappling and you get to the takedown and you're not going to go for full pin or full, well, I guess in grappling, in jiu-jitsu, it would be full submission. But if you're wrestling, you get back up on your feet and you start in the neutral position again. Boxing, I think once you get tied up and you wind up going in, the referee comes in and separates you again.
Finally, Abduleva gets through the defense.
And you start in that neutral position again. So the half and half roll, it's just a neutral position for starting again. The problem is with the Wing Chun community, we consider that the nucleus, right? That's where everything is. So what do? When we actually turn our Chi Sao into fighting context, we go looking for hands. We start chasing hands, right? And it's like, oh my God, that's where it's not where it's at. So you have to learn to bridge between no contact, and grappling if need be. And yes, I 100% believe that the principles of Wing Chun live in all areas, all zones, all ranges of fighting, whether or not you want to look at, there's 5 ranges of fighting: kicking, punching, elbow, kneeing, grappling, whatever you clinch range. I believe there's one range. It's either contact range or nothing at all. The second you're making contact, the fight is on. You're overthinking it if you go past further than that. But Chi Sao, why it's important is, for me personally, when I discovered how Chi Sao worked for me, and again, I got to give him so much damn credit, man. As much as I had a falling out with Phil was a genius when it came down to a tactic in Wing Chun or Chi Sao that I don't hear a lot of people talking about, and it's called one hard, one soft. I'm going to show you a little bit of his Chi Sao. I'll show you where I adopted it in my Chi Sao, and I'll also show you how hard it was for me before understanding that, right? So I want to look at a little bit of footage from, this is David Peterson's YouTube channel, Sifu David Peterson, student of Wang Shengliang. Great, he's a great guy. I've talked to him a couple times online. I like him a lot. I think him, oh, cripes, I'm not going to remember their names. A lot of the Wang Shengliang guys' Chi Saos, it's all, they should look the same, right? Because it's economy of motion at its purest form. A lot of people's Chi Saos, myself included for a long time, was game playing. When they Chi Sao, when the Wang Shengliang's lineage Chi Sao, it's for a purpose, to get in and to fight. End of story. Gary Lamb teaches it. Philip Bayer teaches it. A lot of guys who are in that lineage teach it. It is to get in, and it's to fight, to bridge a gap. End of story. I fell under the mindset of, well, Chi Sao is fun, let's just play it. Now, again, I'd been in fights, I'd wrestled, I'd boxed, bar fights, so I was never that uncomfortable being in a range to get hit in the face or taken down. For me, Chi Sao was fucking fun, dude. It's fun. I never took it as this is fighting context. But that's where my mindset is. Sadly, a lot of Wing Chun practitioners, they live in that mindset of Chi Sao being, Chi Sao being the fight itself. what I want to break down and look at is the size difference in these two men. And I want you to watch how beautiful this Chi Sao is. This is economy of motion, end of story, and pressuring. Once contact is made, man, it's fantastic. And I also want you to see the difference of what happens when you have a shorter guy. The guy in the tank top is obviously taller, and how the shorter guy is handling him, or how he is able to handle him or not, versus Wang Shenglong, who's going to be doing this in a couple of minutes. But this is just beautiful footage. This is so good looking, where they link, they establish the roll, and it's not a lot of roll where they're like, you got to wait for somebody to screw up. A lot of the times with the roll, especially when I was under Phil for the first couple of years, it was you waited for the other person to fuck up, right? And you would be rolling for 5 minutes and whatnot, and be like, okay, can we do something now? And it was kind of frowned upon to initiate a movement because, again, class, he's got his teaching methods. I understand that, but you also don't want to force everything. You do want to be able to sit there and pick up what your partner's doing. I think it's beautiful to have that skill set, but this is great here. Watch, this is forward pressure. This is great forward pressure. You're never going to see, or I haven't seen yet, you don't see the elbows past the 90 degrees, right? The elbows don't come in, so it's not close to the body. The elbow is the distance of what Selim Dao, the opening movement, teaches us. This is just great forward pressure, both hands. Look at this. Both hands are always going forward. Nothing collapses. I'm going to show you in a couple minutes. That almost did. Well, that almost did. That was a good bong sao. Let's look at this bong sao for a second. Look at that. Yeah, that's a good bong sao where, well, yeah, that would have been, this is a mistake that I didn't know how to make, and I didn't know how to make for my advantage, right? You're going to see where I do it in a little bit. Now watch this again. Shorter guy. He's going to collapse his bong sao energy, and he backs up as he's doing it. I want you to keep that in mind, because we're always supposed to keep that spatial awareness. You don't want to have your hands come back into your torso because it could be trapped and pinned. There's a structure issue. This is the difficulty of Chi Saoing somebody who's of a bigger stature and has better structure. So again, one more time, look at this as his structure collapses, which you can see. I use it all the time in the cuts of the bull and a matador. We'll talk about that in a second. Watch this. Collapsing bong sao, but he backs up. Okay, nothing wrong with that, except for if we applied backing up in a fight without forwarding pressure, it's a guaranteed takedown. You're looking to wind up getting taken down for that. I'm a very big proponent of, you can back up to reset, but you better leave something forward going out. This is just really good Chi Sao. Look at that. You can almost see the rigidity and relaxation in their arms. Their arms look like iron bars. This is really good shit. Look at it again. Oh, that was beautiful. Look at that. So even when he comes in, the taller guy, do you see when he brought watch him bring his arms in, but it's only for a nanosecond to fire forward, right? Look at how beautiful this is. The tall guy with the tank top, he's going to draw his arms in, sucks it in. You see how, well, again, I wish I could do the slow motion. He sucks his arms in order to have the shorter guy's arms go forward, creates the space, and then he attacks forward. Boom. Look at that. That is fucking awesome. This is amazing Chi Sao. He drew it in, which created a response, and then he blasted forward. And look at that. If that was accompanied with forward footwork, that's what Wing Chun is. This is where a lot of us lose the majestic awesomeness of Chi Sao. This is fucking fantastic Chi Sao. Let's continue. Yeah, look at it, all straight line going in. You don't see a lot of bullshit. There's not a lot of garbage, which, again, I've been guilty of over the years. Okay, now here's Wang Shenglong. Watch how what really kills me on, okay, there's the first example of one hard, one soft. We'll talk about this. And boom, right there. I'm going to show you where I got this. This is how a smaller person learns to overcome a larger person. Now, we saw the smaller person have a very difficult time with this taller person. I highly doubt we'll see Wang Shenglong have a difficult time with this taller person. This is why. You remember I've talked about the separation between the hips and the waist? Look at, in this frame, see the left leg of Wang Shenglong? It's still stepped forward. The hips are going right into him, but he can turn his waist slightly with a bong sao. That right bong sao, that's completely violates Wang Shenglong's center line. It's crossed over, but look what it's doing. It's taking balance of the guy in the tank top. It's completely overextending him because like a bull and a matador, the bull comes in. Wang Shenglong is a matador right now. Here's the cape. He's sucking that energy in. This is one hard, one soft. And until I learned this, I didn't know how to chi sao bigger people. And I did not know how to wind up dealing with the longer energy. Watch this again. This is just fantastic. He did it there. He did it first. Watch the right arm bong sao. Well, see how he brings it in? Now that's collapsed in a foot sao. That crosses center line. But again, too, when you learn one hard, one soft, which is pretty much one hand remains forwarding energy and the other hand gives a sense of the guy can attack, right? Oh, I got soft, pliable energy here. In this position, you look at the taller guy, he's got his almost bong sao, lan sao energy pushed into Wang Shenglong, but he's allowing that to collapse in. That bottom, look at that bottom tan sao. He's got his center line opened up right there. He can attack anytime he wants. I didn't get or appreciate this, again, until I started seeing the value in accepting energy coming in close to you. You don't need to be so afraid when you know how to control your torso and your frame, your structure. You don't need to be so afraid of having people wind up coming into that grappling space. This right here, this, which you don't see taught a lot, is the answer to anti-grappling, especially from a takedown position in Wing Chun. This is it, and I've been talking about this for years. This is why you mix your wrestling with Wing Chun. No, I don't need to. This is it. It's literally right here. You're watching it in action. He sucks it in, and there it is. You see the sucking of it in. Watch the right bong sao. Wang Shenglong claps it, and then he fires forward with the left hand from underneath. Boom! Look at that. See it underneath? Okay, look how he crossed himself over. Wing Chun, we every rule you learn how to violate it. See, look where his hand ends up. Yeah, it's almost like a pak sao violated position. If you watch too, Wang Shenglong has so many gears. Sometimes he lets the energy come in. Other times, look how both hands are going forward with intent to reinforce his forwarding movement and structure. Yeah, see that forward gum sao energy just pushing right into him? Yep, that's okay, right there. Watch that. I know a lot of you guys could see this. Watch him. Boom. He just look at you change the angle. Changes the angle. Okay, so he's got left arm forward, left leg forward. Boom. And look what he does. Remember, that's how I keep talking about that 50-50 tripod stance. He started here. This is why I don't like the Jeet Kune Do's strong side forward with the strong lead and the strong leg lead, strong arm lead. Watch this. Okay, to face him properly, he had to step into him with his left leg, and then the left arm is the closest target. But watch, he doesn't move his upper body so much, and the right leg comes up underneath to form the tripod for the structure. Boom! Look at that plant. Now he's facing. This is facing. This is where the Jeet Kune Do guys don't get the beauty and the power of chi sao. It's facing. Look at the guys. This is a taller guy who is easily dominating the shorter guy. But Wang Shenglong knows he knows one hard, one soft. He knows facing. He knows angling. Look, this is beautiful fucking chi sao, guys. You really have to just study this video. This is now, he's got that upper body contacted and his lower body's doing all the work. Boom. Look at that. Okay, same side, same side. Let's see where he goes. Look at that. Step. This video, you guys better break down. Boom. There's the one hard, one soft again. Watch what he does with the left arm, he collapses the left arm, which allows him to step in and attack with the right arm. Boom. You see that? That's Bong style energy that not a lot of people talk about. Look at this position. Okay, I keep talking about it too. Remember, I keep talking about the attacking side. So if my right arm is attacking, my left leg is accompanying it. Here, his right arm, his left arm is doing the contact, but his right arm is doing the energetics in order to push it over, and it's accompanied by a lead left leg. Now, again, watch this. Boom! There, look at that. Look at that beautiful Bong Sao. He goes in, attacks one. Zoop. Look at that position. That's one hard, one soft. Okay? That is where you collapse that energy and let them come into you and attack when they're just like sucked in. The biggest analogy is for any of you who have, I'm an older brother, but I never did it to my sisters because you weren't allowed to, beat your sisters up. But if you ever had an older cousin or an older brother who puts their hand on your head, and what are you doing? You're pushing into it, and you're doing this. And when they take the hand off, you go flying forward. Remember? Same concept. That energy is going forward into him. He just lets it go right by, and he's absorbing the energy and attacking in. This is where a lot of us in the Wing Chun community, especially if you're a shorter person and you're going to learn to fight, grapple, chi sao, this is why this teaches you to never be fucking afraid to get in that space where you might take a pop in the face. I guarantee you, if you chi sao with this philosophy and you start learning how to master, he's not chi saoing with his arms. He's chi saoing with his core, his torso, and his legs. It's beautiful. Look at there it is again. There's again. This is how shorter people wind up dealing with larger, longer, taller people. This is why, when you're going in that concept of, dealing with somebody who's like the jab, stuff that jab, man. Stuff that jab, and again, the long arm, the push, the pull, everything. It's all a feeler to get you into their range. Okay, so now this is where I've done it a couple times. All right, here's an example or two. I'm gonna throw an example or two. Here's me with Matt a couple years ago, and this is how I chi saoed with that one hard, one soft. Boom. There's that energy. I let it go to come in. Show you it again. I will let that collapse in just to be able to get the hit. I let that energy come in because I'm facing. It's always going to keep me on target with somebody. I don't worry about the hit because I like living close in that range. All right, and if you watch my left bong sao here, I just let it go for an attack. Boom, right there. You see, I let it collapse in so that I can go forward with an attack on it. I don't care where that energy comes in. If he's going to force into me, I'm going to let it collapse, and I'm going to find the forward pressure going forward. Yeah, and here's one of the best examples. It's kind of hard to see, but as you watch, Matt's going to push into me. I'm going to collapse a bong sao, and I'm going to hit it forward. There's Matt's pushing in, and he's got my left arm tied up, and I'm going to let the left arm go because watch as he backs me up. You want to come into my space? Fine, I'll reposition, get my stance, and I shoot up with a right attack to his face. Boom, there it is, right up his face. So I don't mind it. This is the one hard, one soft because I'm still gaining position while somebody is messing with my arms to wind up grappling for a takedown or strike or whatever. I let them come in. I'll do this again, show this again. Here, let him go in, let him go in, let him go in, but there's the attack. There's the firing forward. One hard, one soft. Let him come in, the bull and the matador. Matador steps past with the cape and then stabs with the sword. And I've done this a couple times too with light sparring. Watch, Kevin's going to push me in, I collapse it. Boom, there's one and then two. So if you watch this, here's the first collapse. Right there, I start to collapse. Well, there's the right arm went in. Here, I don't care about the right arm going in. I have to this is me trying to face. this is what I talk about all the time with the importance of facing. So I'm going to let that arm collapse, but I've got to recover facing right away. This is what the wooden dummy teaches you too. Always facing the dummy, right? It's one of the first principles you learn with the defining of the center line in the first form. So I'm out of position here. I allow that to collapse, and then I wind up facing. Whenever contact is lost, you send something forward to bridge the gap again, puts them on an offense, and then I allow, if you watch here too, I allow him to push in that energy again, push it in, and I leave with that left hand out there again. So I've always done this, this one hard, one soft that has helped me into so many circumstances when it comes down to dealing with bigger people, more aggressive energy that is coming in and collapsing. All right, here's more footage I found with just me messing around with Kevin, and we're going to watch the collapsing of all I do whenever he pushes. Kevin doesn't have really any chi sao experience, but watch how much I'm collapsing a bong sao and leaving forwarding energy out as he's coming in. Every time he pushes back, I'll allow him to come in and invade my space as long as I am changing an angle and putting something forward. I let those, look at the arms. Every arm I put, every time he pushes in, I'll let it come in to collapse. Collapse, fine. And then I'll fire something forward. This is probably one of the better examples I have of using that one hard, one soft. Once it gets past my elbows, though, I'll let from my elbow to my wrist be very, very soft. But from my elbow to my core, I'll keep like a very rigid iron bar. There's a collapse. I let the right arm collapse in because with the left arm, I'm pushing forward. Pushes in. There you go. I'm going to let that collapse in. I don't care about this attack coming in, because I'm going to follow it back. There's the collapse. I'm letting him just feel his way in. I'm letting him get comfortable inching in. You see, he's leaning forward in that structure. I'm standing head over hips over feet. He's leaning forward. Whenever I'm forced back, all I care about is keeping my structure. That's it. All I care about is having head over hips over feet. That's it. I never want to lean forward. I never want to be pushed back. So if you look at this here, I got a bigger, stronger energy coming in. Kevin's pushing me in. I'm going to let him push in as long as I maintain this head over hips over feet. This is the 50-50 stance I like to use. Kevin's going to be pushing in. I will let things collapse. Boom. All right. You want to start shoving in. This is where I'm going to turn a little bit, but I still face him. There, he wants to take my right arm and push it in. Fine. I'll give a little bit of forwarding pressure with my left in a bong sao, almost a lan sao motion, jam up his arm, and watch how I free this hand and fire it forward. Boom. And again, once it sets it up, even though I'm going back, watch as I go back again from that position. After I fire that right hand forward, I take a step back, but I fire again. Hit. Come back, and then there's your present for going backwards. I always want to make sure that I'm in a position, head over hips over feet, and I wind up taking their balance if need be, but collapsing with that one hard, one soft. All right, here's another example of where I like the one hard, one soft. Well, I'm right there. I like collapsing it. It's going to feel like you twist your body up. Boom. I don't mind crossing my center line and collapsing in, because I already know that if I'm facing with the other side, you can't see it here. Here's my right arm or my left arm being collapsed, but it's supported by my right leg. That's my right hip pointed forward into mat. I'm facing. If it was the left leg facing, I would be easily turned over because there's no center line going into someone. I let it go by because my right hand is there for a hit. So again, here's the one hard, one soft. I let the left arm go by because I know the right hand is there. Boom. I don't care. Let it go. So that's a concept in one hard, one soft that I needed to learn, and why it was so important for me to get in close for that. Now, where did I learn that? I got to give him credit. You know, like I said, for years, we don't talk anymore. It's been a long time. That's Phil on the right. That's Zima, Mike Zima. Phil knows what he's doing. I mean, I don't. His pedigree from Wing Chun is fantastic. I mean, he had both Steve Lee Swift from Simon Lau's lineage and Sam Kwok, and he trained with Ip Chun. I mean, it's there's no question he knows the art. But he's a taller guy. Mike Zimu was both these guys are very tall. They're over 6 feet, and Phil was too. So to chi sao them was a very, very, very difficult process. I'm going to show you. When you look at them, look at how far away their elbows are from their body. This is how Phil had us chi sao. Phil's concept during this time, if you watch their roll. Let's look at their roll here. I can't even express our bong saos. Look at that. Look at his left arm. That's his bong sao, how extended it was. That's where Phil had us chi saoing. Phil had fallen in love with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he was actually really good friends with Carlson Gracie. And Phil then adopted this mindset with our chi sao game. You have to be in a position of safety before you are in a position of attack. It never sat well with me because if I chi saoed Zima, I'd get my ass handed to me every single fucking time because of his reach. I could never handle his reach. These guys were tall. We didn't have a lot of footwork. It was just a lot of what Phil would call compass stepping. We didn't do a lot of footwork. But if you watch, it's just arbitrarily forcing your way in. Now this is Sharon. She is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion, and she's also a great Wing Chun. But this is what we used to be like when you were a smaller person. You'd have to back up to be in a position of safety in order to attack. And you couldn't wind up dealing with that. It was just a very, very, very difficult energy to wind up dealing with. How do you deal with that, right? So it wasn't until I started taking private lessons that Phil had taught me the one hard, one soft. It is, again, you saw it in the Wang Sheng Lung footage. And I really wanted to break that down because I haven't seen it outside of that. It is the answer for how smaller people deal with larger incoming energy, especially in a position to where you have to move, shift, step and shift at the same time. We've talked about that before. But guys, if you do chi sao and you understand the concept of one hard, one soft, what you're doing is you're allowing, and it's typically the bong sao energy, you're allowing that bong sao energy to collapse. And we normally don't do that, right? We want to keep that at the past the 45-degree angle, just about there. And you want to keep all your forwarding energy going in. But if you're going to chi sao, try collapsing a bong sao a little bit. You're going to invite massively that energy of your attacker coming in, but see where your free hand is. See where your other hand is. Match up where it is with your footwork. The second you are comfortable with simultaneously taking in an energy while giving one at the same time, everything changes. Where do you get that from? Oh, the chain punch. The Wing Chun useless chain punch that everybody says. The form is everything. I've been telling you guys for years, the form will teach you every single thing you need to know about fighting. Everything. That's why I tell you Wing Chun is a complete system. This is 100% anti-takedown content. Guys, I hope this is of value to you. It's great stuff. I love it. I forgot how much I love the chi sao one hard, one soft game. I'll probably be talking about it in the future a lot more. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, comment below what your opinions is, and I'll see you guys in the next video.